Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'll be sharing some of my favorite shoulder and chest openers. We're going to use a wall, 2 blocks, and then whatever you have as far as blankets and or a bolster goes, that would be great. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right on into it today. So we'll come to standing. I have placed my mat perpendicular to the wall. So if you want to press pause and set yourself up, go for it. And then we'll meet with our feet either all the way together, classic Tadasana, or if you feel like you need a little bit more space, separate the feet hip distance apart. All right, so mountain pose, Tadasana. Align the crown of the head over the center of your pelvis, over the center of the heart. And move your upper arm bones back so they feel in line with the sides of the body. And let's see if we can keep the eyes parallel with the horizon, or maybe even allow your eyes to lift up slightly from the horizon. Reach down through the 4 corners of your feet. Draw energy up through the legs, up through the spine. Lift the side body and the side chest. Reach up through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, soften around the base of the neck, soften the frontal ribs. From here, you're going to turn the inner arms and palms out. So we're exaggerating the rolling of the chest open. Inhale, reach the arms up. Stay tall, exhale, turn your palms out and release the arms. We'll do that 2 more times. So turn the inner arms and palms out, inhale. Stay tall, exhale, turn the palms out, exhale, lower. 1 more time, turn the inner arms and palms out, inhale. This time as you reach the arms up, pause. From your mid upper back, lift the sternum, and then see if it makes sense to take the head back a bit. Draw the gaze upward. Breathe in, lift up through the back ribs, outer shoulder blades. Exhale, release the arms, lower the head. Okay, so next stage, we're gonna go to the wall. This one's called the shower pose. So you're gonna walk your hands up the wall. So maybe you start with like 2 feet distance from the wall. And then hand shoulder distance. Bring your wrists parallel with each other. If you're a little tighter in the shoulders, you can turn your fingers slightly out to create a bit more space in the chest. So either one of those. Then you'll start to tilt the pelvis forward a bit, walk the feet back a bit further until you feel as if your hips are over the heels. So using your proprioception, like where you are in space. All right, so from here, you're gonna bring the ears in line with the arms. Get the whole entire palm to press into the wall. So the inner palm, the mounds of the fingers. And as you press into the wall, lift your forearms a little bit up away from the floor. And as you exhale, roll the outer shoulders down. If you're feeling a little stuck in your pelvis and the legs, do this with your knees bent. So untuck a little bit. I know for myself, I can tend to arch a bit in the lower back. So if you're feeling a bit of that happening in the low back, draw your hip bones up. Softly draw the lower ribs in. Still reach your hips back. Finally, as you kind of press away from the wall somewhat, exhale, try to take your chest closer to the wall. And then slowly come on up and release your arms. All right, next one. So you're gonna stand fairly close to the wall, and how tight you are in the chest shoulders will dictate like how close you are to the wall. So I'm going to have my feet together. You can do feet together or hip distance. We're going to stretch the right arm back. And for today, I'm going to have you bring your wrist a little lower than the shoulder. I'll show it on the opposite arm. So again, my wrist is going to go a little bit lower than the shoulder. Now, if you're really tight and your right shoulder is way up into the ear. Walk further back so that you can release that upper trapezius down. Okay, so your wrist is a little lower than the shoulder. You decide how close to the wall. Let's bring the left hand to your hip. Lift the left side chest, roll that shoulder back as well, and try to release the upper back muscles away from the ears. With the arm along the wall, press the whole palm into the wall. Try to roll the outer right arm slightly down. It can be kind of common here for the head to be pushed forward. So try to keep the crown of the head above the spine, like we did earlier in Tadasana. And let's be here and breathe. I feel a little intense in the right pectoral area, so send some breaths and some compassion into that right side. So explore with your breath. And then release your right arm. If you need to, step away, let the arms wiggle a little bit. Then we'll go to the left side. And you might be different on the second side. You might be a little tighter, you might be more open. So first, assess the situation. Wrist a little lower than the shoulder today, and then see if you can get the left upper trapezius to release down. Let's bring the right hand to your hip. Notice if your right chest feels a little lower than your left chest. I know mine does at the moment. So I'm actually going to bring a little more lift to the right side body, right armpit chest area. So we have an opportunity to open both sides of the chest, both sides of the shoulders. They're just slightly having different experiences. So deep inhale, so rooting down through your base, lifting upward. Use your exhale, rolling the shoulders back. Release your left arm, step away from the wall, give it a little wiggle if you need to. All right, this next one, you're going to be an arm's distance from the wall. So I'll do my right arm. And we're going to start with the fingers pointing down. So your thumb turns back. So we're externally rotating at the root of the arm, at the shoulder socket. Same thing, bring your wrist a little bit, just a tiny bit lower than your shoulder. Let's do left hand on your hip again. Stand in Tadasana. Notice right now I have my right arm straight and my shoulders kind of shrugging. So what we're all going to do is bend the right elbow. Even if your right heel of the hand comes a little bit away from the wall, let the elbow bend. Relax this upper trapezius. Try to bring your elbow a little more forward and roll this upper arm back. So it's still in external rotation. And then you keep that without shrugging the shoulder. Can you straighten the right arm a little more? This is great for carpal tunnel, great to stretch the forearm. You might feel a little nerve flossing happening. Breathe into it. We're going to quarter turn the hand. So now the thumb faces the ceiling, fingers point back. Same actions, bend the elbow. Hook the elbow forward, roll the upper arm back. Try to keep the upper trapezius releasing, but the side chest lifting. And then begin to work this right arm straight. Last version, fingers point up, bend the elbow. Externally rotate the arm. So your right outer arm rolls down, the elbow can go a little forward. And then without shrugging, press the arm straight. We're going to add this left arm. So take the left arm straight out to the side as if your left hand were also pressing into a wall. So you might even bend the left elbow a little bit, roll the shoulder back, and then press out through both arms. Have a breath in. Exhale. Release the arms. Again, let them wiggle a little bit. And then turn to face the other side. So your left hand goes up on the wall, parallel your feet, and then turn your fingers down and your thumb back. Bend the elbow, the left elbow, right hand on your hip. So the thing with, carpal tunnel is there's a little bit of a process of getting through the carpal tunnel. So if you are feeling some tingling, some, it's not super, blissful yet, just hang in there. Bend the elbow, hook the elbow forward, roll the left shoulder back and down, and then try to straighten the arm without letting the left shoulder bunch up into the ear. And then we'll quarter turn the hand, fingers point back, bend the elbow, hook the arm forward, roll the upper arm back, and then try to stretch the arm. Press into the wall. Last version, fingers point up, bend the elbow, hook the elbow forward, roll the upper arm back, and then start to press the arm straighter, and then we'll float this right arm up as if it were also, if that hand were pressing into a wall. Bend both elbows, hook the elbows forward, roll the upper arms back, and then try to keep the upper back releasing down, press the arms away from each other. Have a full breath. Exhale. Release the arms. Give them a little wiggle. Okay. So to give our arms a break for a moment, let's use the wall for chair pose. Always a crowd pleaser. So walk a bit away from the wall, and then you can have your feet together or hip distance. And then sit low, so maybe your hips and knees are pretty even in height. We'll reach the arms forward, take the arms all the way up. So maybe your thumbs touch the wall, maybe not. You might keep the arms more forward. So reach, but at the same time, relax the upper trapezius. Lift from the side chest, the armpit, the shoulders. And with your legs, press the inner heels to the outer heels. Try to imagine pulling your feet back to the wall. Have one more breath. Exhale, lower the arms. Keep your feet where they are. Slide your hips up the wall. And then fold over your legs for a variation of Utkatasana. Hips are on the wall. And hey, you might need to bend your knees a lot. So if you feel like your lower back is rounding a lot, then please bend your knees. You can walk your hands forward. You can keep them down by your feet. You can wrap the arms behind the calves. Just have your moment. And feel a sense of sliding your hips up the wall as the trunk is going down. Release the head and the neck. Release your arms. Your hands back at the wall. Hinge from your hips, lift your upper body, and then press away from the wall. Okay. Last weight-bearing thing. You're going to place these two blocks at an angle at the wall. So at an angle. So the block is walking a little bit up the wall. Shoulder distance apart. Come down onto your knees. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So your palms are going to go up the block. Spread the fingers. Lengthen through your sternum. Roll the outer arms back a little bit. Tuck your toes under. Keep the sternum lengthening. Lift your knees and then exhale. Press back into downward facing. Your ears in line with the arms. Bend the knees to untuck your pelvis and lift up through your hips. And then go back into the hands. So inner palm, mounds of your fingers, mounds of the knuckles.
rooting into the blocks, then rebounding away from the blocks. So lifting up through the forearms, through the shoulders. Roll the outer shoulders down a little. And then hug the muscles of the arm to the bone. Lengthen the sternum, inhale. Exhale, draw the front lower ribs of the body softly in and up toward your pelvis. And then see about straightening the legs. Just notice what it feels like to have your hands elevated in downward facing. Maybe you can stretch the heels further down. Let's have one more breath. And exhale, come on down to your knees. Brief child's pose, toes together. You can make a pillow with your hands or just bend the elbows out in front of you, rest. As you inhale, fill up the front body, the sides of the body, the back body. An easy exhale. Okay, from here, come on up, hands and knees, and turn to face you. We'll sit in Virasana. So knees together, feet apart. So you can use one of those blocks and sit back. If you need a little more, you could add a blanket behind the back of your knees. I like to come forward, use the hands on the blanket and tuck the blanket behind the knees, and then sit back. If you need to sit differently, you can sit cross-legged. You can add more height. You can sit on a chair if that's better for you. I want you to be able to sit here for a few minutes. Okay, so we're going to add some shoulder movements. We'll start with the arms out to the side. Garudasana, eagle arm. So your right arm's going to go over the left. Bring your elbows together and then press part of the palms together. Option B, if you can hook the elbows, maybe stay there. If the hands aren't quite coming together, no worries. A third option would be to reach back and hold the shoulder blades. So a little hug, a little self-love moment. Okay, and then your elbows for now, bring them up to the height of the sternum. Play with protracting the shoulder blades, which means moving them further away from each other, the shoulder blades, away from the spine. So move your elbows, move your hands a little more forward. Breathe. And then bring the arms more back towards the shoulders, so the shoulder blades come a little closer together. Breathe here. And then we'll release the arms out to the side, have a big stretch, reach them out. Exhale, left arm goes over. Find your modification if you need to. And see what it feels like to press the arms further out. Feel what it's like to bring the arms in a little more. And then release the arms out to the side. And then release your hands. Okay, Gomukasana. You're going to take the right arm out to the side. Internally rotate this right shoulder so that you can bring this right hand from below. If you're a bit tighter, I would say bring your hand lower and let your elbow go out much further. So completely optional there. Otherwise, walk your hand further up the back. And then this shoulder gets pulled down quite a bit. See if you can lift the arm towards the socket and then gently, so be kind with your shoulders, start to broaden your chest. Try to roll this upper arm bone back. So once we're in the pose, we're trying to go back to that place of rolling externally the arm and the shoulder back. All right, with this left arm, take it out, turn your inner arm and palm up. We'll reach this left arm tall, lift up, and then turn your arm back. So yes, you can turn the palm, but see if you can do that from the root of the arm. Bend your elbow,
No worries if the hands don't connect. Make the shape. Some of you will connect the fingers together. Roll the top arm in towards the ear. And then chin level, eyes level, or even look up a little bit. Make little micro adjustments. Relax the jaw, the tongue. And then we'll release. Take the left arm up. Release your right arm up. Let's have a moment with both arms reaching. Exhale. Lower the arms. All right, left arm out to the side. Briefly internally rotate so this left hand can come from below. And then draw this arm up a bit, roll the left shoulder back. So do this mindfully, so you're not just cranking back, but see if you can work, internally, like the left shoulder blade moving in, spreading, from the center of the chest to the side of the chest. So it's a live process. So you're, continuously looking inward, finding micro movements, micro adjustments. And then we'll take this right arm out, turn the inner arm and palm up, and then reach up from that outer shoulder blade. Side body, get tall. And then from the root of this right arm, turn your whole arm and palm back. Bend your elbow. Make the shape or clasp the fingers. And again, it's a live process here. So we're looking inward. Where can we make little adjustments? Like maybe the head is pushing forward out of alignment. Try to keep the crown of the head above the seat of the spine. Maybe the ribs are pushing forward a lot. Can you softly draw the ribs in? Have a breath. Exhale. And then we'll stretch this right arm up. Take the left arm up. Turn your palms out and exhale. Release your arms. Okay, last one. Arms out to the side. Internally rotate both shoulders and then bring your arms from behind the back. Palms together is option 1. So reverse prayer, Paschima Namaskar. Or bring your knuckles together and press in. Or hands can be on the hips and still work the same actions with the chest, the shoulders, the arms. So now try to roll the chest open, move your upper arm bones back. Move the thoracic spine, so that's the middle upper back. Draw that slightly forward into the heart. Making little micro adjustments. Keep your chest lifted. I tend to, shrug myself, so in the upper back, so I know to try to release a little more in the upper back muscle, but yet still keeping the sternum lifted. It's all process every day, slightly different situation. All right, so we're going to release the arms. Bring your hands out in front. And then we'll come on the hands and knees. So slide your blanket out of the way. Slide your block out of the way. And then, we were sitting like that for a few moments. So let's stretch out the knee. So come on to all fours. Take your right leg back. Tuck your toes under. Stretch out the knee. And then switch, take your right knee down, take your left leg back, the toes tuck under, stretch the knee. And then release. Okay, for our final pose, it's more of a restorative type heart opener. A little more passive, meaning not so much physical effort is needed for this particular posture. I'm going to use a bolster and a blanket. So I'm going to fold this blanket in half for my head and my neck, and then I've got this bolster horizontal, so my shoulder blades will go on this. So say you don't have a bolster, you could stack a bunch of blankets or beach towels or bed pillows, anything like that. You could also put a block behind the shoulder blades and a block behind the head. So some type of supported heart opener. So my bolster is going right in the mid upper back. My shoulders are going to release down. They're not quite hitting the floor, and that's completely fine for this version. And then the arms are going to go out to the side with the palms upward. We just did all that shoulder opener. So let the inner arms and palms face upward. And then see if you need to adjust the support under your head and neck. So you might need more support under the head. So say your head is tilting too far back and your chin is curling backwards. Then elevate the head and the neck more. If you have too much under the head, like say your chin and your chest are touching, then please lower that support a little bit. And just see if you need to make any further adjustments. So you can either keep your knees bent. If you're going to keep your knees bent, take your feet as wide as your mat and then let your knees drop together so you can relax the legs a little more. Or extend your legs out like Shavasana. Let your legs naturally turn out. Let's close the eyes. And allow yourself to surrender into whatever support you've chosen. There's a steadiness, there's a softness with your breathing. So some of the benefits of opening the shoulders, the chest, engaging the shoulder blades are that it helps our capacity for breath, helps our posture, which, when our posture feels upright and tall, and because we can breathe a little more easily, we might energetically feel more awake, more vibrant, more joyful. Shoulder practices also help us relieve tension, hypertension in the neck, upper back, shoulders. So notice one more time, are you holding anywhere? Can you give yourself permission to do less? A slightly deeper inhale, slightly deeper exhale. Real movement into your fingers and your toes. If your legs are straight, bend your knees, flatten the feet. And you can stretch your right arm over your head.
Roll to your right side, pause. So have a couple breaths on your side. And then press off your left hand, bring your head up last, come on up. Come to sitting, cross the legs, or however you'd like to sit, really. And then close your eyes. Connect with the spine, your shoulder girdle, the head. Join your palms in front of the heart. Thank you so much for practicing with me. See you next time. Namaste.